just right.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Wednesday. That's right. It is hump day. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great week so far. Bitcoin up 0.34%. We'll take it. $8,121. But yesterday we were talking about the significance of the $8,000 level. And not only is the $8,000 level of massive importance, but there's actually another indicator that totally blew my mind yesterday when we were talking to Jacob Canfield. And I definitely want to go into that today because that could totally turn this entire Bitcoin situation on its head. And I want to dive into it in just a bit. You can see essentially right here, the $8,000 level is incredibly important. We did bounce off it. In fact, Jacob said he went long yesterday at around 7.9 something. So we're going to talk about that. I also want to discuss this very important indicator. I want to discuss the CME futures charts as well. Something very interesting on them. And I also want to talk about the fact that we have more bullish news from the institutions, okay? More opportunities for these traders to get in. We're going to get into that. And I also want to discuss more about the minor capitulation and the fact that, you know, millennials are going to be the wealthiest generation of all time. And the question is, what are they going to do with all this money? Well, my hunch is they're probably going to buy some Bitcoin, but don't take my word for it. We're going to get into all of that in just a bit. If that sounds good to you, you know what to do. Also, if you're not subscribed to the Crypto Zombie channel, we do this every single day. Bear market, bull market, weekends, you guys know the drill. And of course, every Monday, we do give away a Ledger Nano S. All you got to do is drop a comment on any video and you are eligible. And before we move on, guys, I just want to let you know that there's been a lot of scams running amok recently, okay? One of them was on Telegram. They were using my name, but they did crypto zombie with the 0. Be careful. And also, this one was in one of my videos the other day, okay? Don't ever answer these giant paragraphs. And first, come on, guys. He uses Tone Vase avatar, Tone Vase. Yeah, you guys are really good at scamming. But anyway, be careful out there, guys, all right? Only official way to get a hold of me is obviously either in the Telegram group or in my official email. So having a look right here, Bitcoin dominance at 66%. Let's see, what do we have for top gainers today? MMO coin with $457,000 worth of volume. Alrighty then. Augur, Synthetic, Zella, Engine, 0x, Digibyte, Nano, Crypterium. So we do have some altcoins up today. Do we really have to go into the volume? It's obviously not that good, guys. Also having a look at the site that takes forever to load, we do have Coin Farm, which is relatively neutral to actually slight bullish. Actually, longs and shorts have sort of evened out, which I'm happy to see this. I don't like when they go incredibly high, you know, long or short, because then we usually have some really insane market movements. Now, interestingly enough, we did fall out of this wedge pattern, but we have now been supported 1, 2, 3 times by the 8K level, more specifically 7,996, but we might as well just round that to 8K. And the other thing I want to point out too is that we've actually been supported by this trend line back here, which I've been talking about, which was the support when we had the dump, right? We bounced off it. Then when we got below it, it became the resistance. And once we got back above it, well, then it did become the support. And currently we are sitting on that today. Actually, if we look at what Flood said over here, your paid group leader is short, looking for 7.4K with his last 0.1 BTC in fees. True Chads are long and strong right now. Not financial advice, that's just what Flood says. So, should you be long right now? Well, having a look over here, we are looking for a potential golden cross on the weekly. We're looking for the 50, which is this golden line or yellow line to move above the blue line. That's actually very bullish. However, I already hear somebody screaming, but we had a death cross on the daily. Okay, so we did have a death cross. So we have a death cross on the daily, and we're looking for a bullish cross on the weekly. Now, we do know that the lower time frames have been quite ugly for Bitcoin, but actually zooming out, things don't seem to look as bad, right? For example, having a look at this sort of parabolic advance that we started back here, we are currently being supported by it logarithmically, and if I just actually show you down here, you can see that we've also been supported by this trend that started way back here in 2015. So that is good to actually notice that we're still supporting these long-term trends, but we do have some Bitcoin bears, specifically Mark Dow. Now, if you don't know who Mark Dow is, I do got to give the guy credit. He actually shorted Bitcoin, not all the way from the top. I think he got in around like 16 or something, and basically shorted all the way down and closed his short 3 days after the Bitcoin bottom. So I think that was the 18th or the 19th of December. But yeah, so this guy, he's a Bitcoin bear. And he basically says, well, We'll see if the 200 DMA matters to Bitcoin, but truly strong assets don't give back moves like the one up through 10K, especially when they start from so far below all-time highs. Thesis of echo bubble unwind with occasional upside spasms and progressively weaker FOMO just got a lot stronger. So for anyone wondering, no, he's being very sarcastic and basically saying, this is not normal, this should not be happening. However, he is right, but only on the occasion if we look at spot. You see this line right here is the 200. We are actually sitting below it. Now, if we look over here on BLX, the 200 is sitting at around 9,369, okay? Interestingly enough, if we come over to spot, well, we're actually being supported by, CMEs, we're actually being supported by it. Now, the interesting thing is, you've noticed that with the CME futures, right? Every time we have these gaps, right? We had a gap here, 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 here. The gaps always get filled. And it does seem, interestingly enough, a lot of people were saying that this was the China pump. It was, by President Xi, but was it? Or do you think it was actually the fact that we hit the 200 on the CME futures chart? I mean, this is blowing my mind right now because this to me is telling me that maybe we need to shift our attention and our focus to this chart. If this is what the institutions are looking at, then maybe this is what we need to look at. And if that's the case, then we are not in a bear. We're actually still in a bull market. In fact, we're sitting at possibly the greatest opportunity to buy Bitcoin that we've seen for quite some time. Let's just put it that way. So essentially, let me know what you guys think. Do you think that this means that we are going to have a major bounce back and that this was the actual bottom and this is it for Bitcoin and we are going to go the other way? Let me know what you think. But so far, it does seem that this level has supported. Even if you want to take it a step farther, you'll actually notice that back here, we were actually struggling to break above the 200 daily moving average when we had that original move. So that is just something that I wanted to point out, even though it does look very different over here on BLX, but it was something that I had to bring to your attention. Now, let me also talk about one other reason why this level is so important, and I really don't want to see us fall below it, and essentially that is because the VPVR. Now, that's obviously behind me right now, but if I just sort of get out of the way, you can see right here, we have a major level at $8,039, but if we fall below that, there's virtually nothing to support us, maybe with the exception of just this slight support, around the sort of $7,626 level, but that's not with the volume, that's just with the actual price. If we actually... The next level that we're trying to get some support is around 5.8K, but after that, realistically, the next level is $5,256. So that's another reason why I just honestly don't think Bitcoin is going to fall much lower, if at all, from this point, because there is just simply nothing to support us down at those levels, and we do risk the potential of having, and I don't even really want to show this on here, but essentially another possible 35% fall, and if Bitcoin was to do that, well, that would completely invalidate everything that we've worked for so far. All of these gains would be essentially for nothing, and yes, we would just be continuing a bear market. Essentially, what you would be doing was just putting in a lower high and going basically a lot lower. Now, I don't want to get into the bearish scenario just yet, and I do think as long as we stay above the 200 daily on this futures chart, I'm actually going to remain bullish because it has been supported 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, guys. So definitely important, and if you are trading over on leverage, be safe. As you guys know, I definitely don't recommend going any higher than 3 to 5x if you're a beginner. But yeah, be safe over there, and if you guys are looking to get involved in the, the Bybit games, they're doing them next week. I do have a tutorial above, and I will drop a link for that below. But moving on, big announcement of the day, and then I want to talk about some other fundamentals. But Fidelity has actually said that it has received permission from the New York State Department of Financial Services to offer Bitcoin trading and storage services. Now, we all know how... Well, basically, New York, right? I mean, it's not exactly the easiest state to work with. So this allows them to create and launch a digital currency platform that would specifically cater to institutional investors. You can see right here, they do have this tweet that came out. So essentially, they would be able to purchase, sell, store, and transfer Bitcoin on Fidelity digital assets. So this does beg the question, is big money coming to Bitcoin? Or is it already here? Is the big money already here? And that's it, right? Well, essentially, you can see investors with huge risk appetite at the same time have already started allocating Bitcoin and other related instruments to their portfolio. For example, endowments at Harvard, Yale, as well as two Virginia-based pensions plan to invest huge sums in crypto. Also, the rise in Bitcoin price in the second quarter against the U.S.-China trade dispute further showed that big investors are looking at crypto as a non-correlated safe haven asset. And also, just to comment on yesterday's news, apparently this was a video from 2017. This is honestly why I hate reporting like Chinese news or news from like other countries where I can't personally translate or I don't understand what's happening, because then you end up having essentially this FUD that comes out. So I don't know. At this point, anything you hear from China, just take it with a grain of salt. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is, guys, but you got to be careful out there with all this news. So, but something that did get confirmed is that Singapore's monetary authority is essentially giving the thumbs up to a payment token derivatives in order to list it as well on exchanges. So in its paper, the MAS also cautioned retail investors, suggesting that derivatives and cryptocurrencies weren't suitable for retail investors because you're all going to get wrecked, right? Well, you know, you got to learn some way. But having a look over here, how is this doing right now? Currently 305. Well, we'll take it. A little bit low on the daily, but we will take it. Now, here is the situation, and this is from Charles Edwards. Now, he's the one behind this whole, ribbon, and he says it's official. We're now in a Bitcoin miner capitulation. The only question now is, how deep do we go? Now, if you guys are interested, you can check this out over on Woodbull charts. They have a lot of different charts, all different types of fundamental stuff. It's one of my favorite websites to check out. You could zoom in like this. You could check out the chart. They have all different kinds of stuff. Look at this, HODL waves they have. Bitcoin volatility, you're going to love this. You'll literally spend the whole day on this website. But essentially, getting back to what we're talking about with miner capitulation, there was a very long Twitter thread by Cole Gardner. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing because then we'll just literally be reading the whole thing, but I did highlight a few parts that I wanted to go over why this is a situation. So hash ribbons is on the brink of inversion. That's news you never want to hear, right? He says inversion signals a downturn in hash rate. It's leading indicator of miner capitulation. Bitcoin is dangling on the edge of a cliff. So this is sort of that FUD that's being spread about the miner capitulation, right? Essentially, if you don't know what this is, basically it's just that it's not profitable, especially for smaller miners. So they either have to turn their machines off, sell their Bitcoin for profits, or sometimes they have to literally upgrade their ASICs, right? So basically, not a good situation, right? Now, of course, this does happen in cycles. We will eventually have the Bitcoin difficulty, Bitcoin difficulty adjust. Sorry, I just kind of got stuck on my words there. But essentially, you could see he says it is a vicious cycle. Undercapitalized miners panic sell, price dumps, longs get squeezed, stop losses cascade, then more miners lose their lunch, right? Now he's looking essentially at the VPVR the same way that we are. I think he doesn't have as many lines as we do, but he's calling for around the 6.4K level. And that would basically bring us back to, essentially that level where we were bottoming out back in the day, right? So, scrolling down here, he talks a little bit more about it. He does say that inversions are rare. It only happened twice in the last 4 years. The last time was a few weeks after the halving in 2016. And look, check this out right here. Essentially, you had the inversion and boom, you had an instant dump, right? He also mentions the second time that it happened, and this was before the really big, massive dump that we had in in the middle of November, boom. So you had that inversion as well. Okay. So he does say there are a few implications. First, if this does snowball, it will create the greatest. I love what he says here. It's a generational buying opportunity. I expect it to be the last time we ever see prices that low. If your friends or family have expressed interest in buying Bitcoin, they need to know there is not much time left. And I do agree. If we have like one more of these major dumps, I'm pretty much going all in, dude. And you guys can you trust I will have the biggest long ever, because there's just no possible way that I don't think we're going to fall below that. And you can also see some other things he does say that would be pretty tough for the altcoins. And he would expect a consolidation. And then what essentially would happen? Well, he says basically, post-halving is the gravitational short. Imagine your revenue cut in half. I don't care how long ago you priced it in. Naked swimmers are going to meet the tide. Inversion has followed both halvings 2 to 3 weeks after the event like clockwork. And after that, well, more consolidation and then full-blown bull market. So if any of you guys have gotten into crypto recently and you're not like you haven't been around since 2017 or whatever, 2018, you just got in this year and maybe you bought a little bit too high right now, stick around at least until May, because you are probably going to witness the most explosive thing you ever seen in your life, and I'm definitely excited to share that with you. So definitely looking forward to May of next year, but I do want to talk about this topic. You're hearing a lot about millennials. Millennials are going to invest. Where are they going to invest their money, essentially, is what people are asking, right? So they basically say that they're going to become the wealthiest generation in history. They've started making a major shift towards the use of unconventional banking. So should banks be worried? Well, probably. You can see disposable income for millennials is predicted to grow to over $7 trillion. That's a lot. Within the next decade, and by 2030, they will hold 5 times as much wealth as they currently do. Now, keep in mind, due to inflation, the fact that millennials are going to be the most wealthiest generation, it doesn't necessarily mean much when you consider the fact that, especially the dollar, we're losing about 2 to 3% annually, but that being said, let's stick to the topic. With all that wealth, what are the millennials going to do? Well, can I just suggest one video? I'm not going to play it for you guys, but if you have not seen $10 million Bitcoin Endgame by Token Vision, my goodness, you have to see this. I'm going to drop it above. I'm going to link it below. Gotta watch this video. It's 45 minutes, and it's literally probably the best video I've seen. Should I say ever? I don't know if I should say ever, but it's definitely like top 3 videos on Bitcoin, and it's about 45 minutes long. And right here around 30 minutes, Tom Lee starts going into what's going to happen when all of these millennials get into their mid to late 30s and they look for investments. You can see he breaks down all the different charts and shows what they're going to be buying, what they're going to be looking to do. And, I don't think I have to tell you guys, essentially, Tom Lee does think that some of them will be looking to purchase cryptocurrencies. Actually, a study of 10,000 millennials, the majority, 71%, reported that they would rather go to the dentist than to listen to anything banks have to say. This distrust is not entirely misplaced. Rather go to the dentist than listen to a bank. Ooh, I don't know. That's a tough one. Should make that one a poll, huh? So, a Harvard study found that only 14% of millennials trust Wall Street to do the right thing all or most of the time. Meanwhile, 83% of all Americans believe Wall Street is no more ethical today than it was during the 2008 financial crisis. In fact, they have a quote here from Robert Frost. It says, "A bank is a place where they lend you an umbrella in fair weather and ask for it back when it begins to rain." Gotta love it, right? According to a survey from eToro, millennials trust cryptocurrencies as an asset, at least more than they do the stock market run by traditional Wall Street. You could see 43% of millennials. That is a lot. In fact, 25% of American millennials aged between 24 and 38, earning $100,000 in individual or joint income, owning $50,000 in investable assets, are either holding or using cryptocurrencies. Do you guys get what I just said to you? 25% of millennials that earn over $100,000 a year are invested or are using cryptocurrencies currently. So I don't know what to tell you guys, but that is pretty incredible. You can see right here, actually 18 to 34 represents 18%, and it actually decreases as you get older. So obviously people who are a lot older, they don't understand Bitcoin. They're confused about it. They're scared. They think they're going to get hacked. They don't trust it, right? As you get the younger generations, well, you notice that they do become a little more friendly. So definitely check this video out, guys. It is an amazing, amazing video by Token Vision. It's called $10 Million Bitcoin Endgame. Yeah. Also got to talk about this too, because South Africa's First National Bank, now you got to take the good news with the bad, right? Has announced that it will be shutting down accounts linked to cryptocurrency exchanges. We're seeing some shady stuff done with Bank of America. So obviously if you have a Bank of America account, not telling you what to do, but if you're dealing with crypto, you might want to consider another bank. Anyway, getting back to this, in a letter sent to these exchanges, the Bank of South Africa said that it would no longer provide banking service after considering its risk appetite. The decision will come into full effect in March 2020 and was confirmed by officials from the Luno exchange. So, unfortunate, guys. It's unfortunate to see, you take one step forward, you take 2 steps back, right? But that being said, guys, I still stand by this chart. As long as Bitcoin respects this logarithmic chart, yes, it does get smaller. Yes, the moves get a little bit less over time. No, the chances of making ridiculous 10, 100,000x, whatever, it's decreasing, but there is still a massive opportunity. We're still incredibly low. And yeah, anyone that's watching right now, if you're holding a Bitcoin or two and you're sitting on it, you are going to probably be doing quite pretty in the next couple of years. So kudos to you. Thank you so much for coming back. And, let's see what we're trying to do. Yep, we're just getting rejected right here. So it's going to be a battle between the bulls versus the bears. Hopefully we maintain above that level. And I am most certainly going to be keeping my eyes on this 200 daily because this just absolutely blew my mind. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Should we just be looking at the CME futures chart? Maybe that's the only chart we should be charting. Maybe that's the only chart that matters. I mean, it seems to be the one when we have the gaps, they get filled. This is the one that's getting respected with the 200 daily. So maybe we'll just start charting on this from now on. Let me know what you guys think below. That being said, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. You guys rock. You are the reason that I do this every single day on Crypto Zombie. Of course, we do give the Ledger Nano S away every Monday. Drop a comment if you're interested. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel, and honestly, turn on that damn bell notification because YouTube turns it off on people. I don't know why it does that. Stop doing that, YouTube. Naughty, naughty YouTube, turning off the bell. Okay, guys, that being said, I am done for today. It is Wednesday. We are getting pretty excited. I hope we stay above this $8,000 level, and I am very interested in this 200 daily moving average on